Hello. How can I help you today?
I am glad that you could see me today on such short notice.
Since you only needed a few questions answered, I could squeeze you in.
I hear that you have a different slant on relationship astrology, on Synastry.
It is different, in that I'm realistic almost to a point of skepticism about how helpful astrology is in the study of relationships.
I just met someone. My Venus and his Mars are in conjunction. My Jupiter is on his moon. His Uranus is on my ascendant. It just feels so right.
How long have you known this person?
We met at a party a month ago. We went out afterwards and had more drinks. The shit hit the fan quickly, and we had sex all night. We were on the bed, on the floor, in the car. It was just ridiculous. We cannot keep our glance off of each other.
This sounds pretty normal for two young people. You will not really know what you have until you experience time.
But what about the aspects between our charts that I talked about?
When two people take interest in each other, there are typically going to be contacts from chart to chart. They indicate chemistry and potential. Nothing more.
That's all? But it feels so good and so right.
I hate to disappoint you, but let's cut to the chase. If all it took to have a great, fulfilling, long-lasting relationship was to know astrology, the greatest astrologers would all have fantastic relationships. They would have no divorces. Does this make sense to you?
So are you saying to just dismiss astrology when it comes to relationship studies?
I'm saying that you have to keep it in perspective. People are not horoscopes and horoscopes are not people. Horoscopes show potential only. A horoscope doesn't have to deal with someone who insists on farting all night in the bed and thinks it is funny when it smells. A horoscope doesn't have to deal with someone who doesn't like the kind of music you like. A horoscope doesn't have to deal with the kind of insecurity that is often found in relationships.
But if the aspects between the charts are flowing, if there are a lot of trines and sextiles and those kinds of things, there won't be any farting all night, will there? Unless two people think laughing at their farts is okay.
Did you see The Wizard of Oz?
Yes, I did. Why do you ask?
You sound like someone living that kind of fantasy. Here is the deal. Each horoscope suggests a potential. If two people together are acting to their potentials and those horoscopes have lots of contacts between them, the chances of those two people being attracted or interested in each other becomes heightened, all things considered. But if you are looking for astrology to kind of give a guarantee of any kind, you had better go hang out with the Tin Man or one of the characters in The Wizard of Oz.
This is very disturbing to hear. Are you saying that we should not use astrology in this way?
No, not at all. You can find people who have been happily married for 40 years whose horoscopes look like a bad traffic accident. You can also find people whose horoscopes match like spices on Indian food and cannot stand each other. It isn't the astrology. It is what people decide to do with whatever potential they have. Where the astrology is important is in understanding the needs of your partner.
I don't understand.
Let's say that the man has the moon in Pisces. That tells you that he needs to have his sensitivities recognized and supported. The woman may have the moon in Aquarius. She's not going to have that emotional need. She can more easily be detached and relate to groups of people rather than be a kissy-huggy type. If they don't understand this about each other, there can be problems. There can be big problems.
I never considered that.
Yes, well, you must consider it. One planet that is often completely ignored in these matters is Mercury. Mercury tells you the way one needs to think and communicate in order to be fulfilled. Let's say that one person has Mercury in conjunction with Saturn and Pluto, suggesting a need to think in ways that are structured. Suppose the other person has, say, Mercury sextiles Venus, Mercury conjunct Jupiter and Uranus and Mercury square Neptune. Such a person is better off when able to deal in broad terms, in visionary terms, as opposed to being so structured about everything.
Oh no.
What is the problem?
My Mercury is conjunct Neptune. His Mercury is square Saturn.
It is not a death sentence. It means that you just have to understand those things about each other's need to think a certain way.
Well, I already understand it. In fact, we had a mild discussion about politics. He started talking badly about President Obama being a socialist and that kind of thing. I ignored it, because I wanted more sex at the time, but I know I felt offended when he said that. He felt that George Bush was a better president.
Bill Clinton's Mercury is tied up with Saturn and Pluto, so you cannot link Saturn to conservative thoughts, but I understand what you are saying. In his mind, the conservative, organized, structured way is the way to go. You already see that. The thing to do is understand that that is his need. He has his need. You have your need to think idealistically.
I understand what you are saying, but when it comes down to it, I cannot go against my principles, against my politics. It's just that the sex is so good.
This is your decision to make, but as you can see, the aspects that you cited do not play an important role in things aside from the chemistry. This is why you cannot stop there with what some astrologer says in a book. You have to be realistic and look at real-life concerns. Horoscopes are not real people. They are symbols of real people.
Is it that you never use astrology in relationship analysis?
Not at all. I do use it, but there are really just a few brief things that I look at.
Can you tell me?
I don't know. This is a top trade secret.
Please tell me. I really want to know.
Okay. Do you know what the nodal axis is?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I can't give you the reason why this is so, but the first thing I look at is to see if a planet in one horoscope is conjunct, square, or quindecile the north node in the other chart, and vice versa. When there is contact there, the indications are far-reaching, deeply suggesting that two people came together for a purpose. That purpose might not always be to live happily ever after, but you can damn sure bet the people will tend to stay connected forever.
Wow. What the hell is a quindecile?
It is an aspect that measures 165 degrees. It symbolizes obsession among other things.
And what kind of orb do you use in this comparison?
3 degrees at the most, and that's wide.
You said that you look at a few things. What else?
I compare chart A to chart B's horoscope done in the Draconic system. I reverse that. And then I look at both charts in the Draconic system.
Draconic? And what is that?
It is a long story. If you have sophisticated astrology software, it will produce a horoscope in the Draconic system. A Draconic horoscope could also be called a nodal horoscope. This isn't the place to explain, but when there are contacts between two Draconic horoscopes, it is the same thing as contacts from planet or angle to the north node.
I really need to enroll in your course. I have learned a lot. I will probably continue to have sex with this guy and see if anything develops. But I do know already that Mercury thing you talked about will play a role here. I cannot tolerate Rush Limbaugh, Bush and that group. I am not saying it is wrong. I am saying I don't like it.
And that is a choice you have to make. But understand that it is you making the choice, not astrology. There is no reason why a visionary thinker can't have a relationship with a structured, conservative thinker. One can help the other. The important thing here is that you now have a better perspective on synastry. The next time you look at two charts and see magic, you will have a more mature perspective.
Thank you so much. I will be sending you a check to enroll in your course.
It will be a pleasure being involved in your learning process.